2 weeks ago, the top 2 spots on the Season 12 leaderboard were seemingly taken by a Junkrat one-trick by the name of Gurkmeister, who's even somehow above Kevster. In Season 10, he peaked top 1 on Junkrat, and this season, he's currently Champion 4, likely making the top 5 again when leaderboards come out. So let's take a look at one of his games from his team and see some of the good, bad, and ugly that Junkrat has to offer. The first thing to note is how allergic Gurkmeister is to open space, spamming up the tracer marking his ball and then jumping up to the middle window high ground where he demolishes the majority of D.Va's HP. Because of how low the D.Va is, she's forced to give space, and you can see how aggressive Gurkmeister's team plays. Next fight, he plays in the side room once again, placing a trap to his right in case anyone comes at him. Unfortunately, his Juno gets picked off, so he decides to retreat with his mine and give some space. However, he just lands a mid-air shot onto a tracer while his ball goes in, equalizing out the trades. And notice again how he's playing in an enclosed space. He zones the D.Va, then dives the backline, almost killing the Brig with his one-shot combo, but unfortunately, it seems that the ball and tracer on Gurkmeister's team are going on the Ana instead of the Brig, so neither of them end up dying. Not to worry though, since next fight, we see Gurkmeister just get the most magical pick of all time. If we zoom out, the Echo ends up receiving a lot of pressure early on, and just so happens to stumble into one of Gurkmeister's nades. With this free pick, it forces the enemy team to dive early to try and find the trade, but Gurkmeister fends off the D.Va and forces out the tracer with his nade. It's important to note that he moves forward outside of the enclosed space so that his backline can see him. After he gets the tracer low, he gets a clean one-shot on the D.Va, but trades his life for it. Probably worth it if you ask me. Once he's back, he retakes the same high ground space, marks it with a trap, and pops his tire for when his ball tracer dive, getting a pretty confirmed kill on the Brig. He also gets nano boosted when the D.Va flies to try and kill him, easily breaking the D.Va mech and staggering the D.Va to waste more time. The last key idea on this map that I want to go over is Anticipatory Marking, or in other words, predicting and preventing enemy dive heroes before they even dive you. In this fight, we can see Gurkmeister spam the enemy team from distance, but as soon as the D.Va comes a bit closer, he mines himself to the right side and forces out the tracer with a well-timed mine. 99% of Junkrat players would have just kept on spamming main, or they would have isolated themselves by flanking right way too early. Gurkmeister takes a more middle ground approach, off-angling onto the tracer and preventing her from going in entirely. To add the cherry on the top, he mines himself away again and lands a great shot onto the enemy Juno, getting a vital trade. And when he realizes the tracer is dueling him, he pops Riptire to scare the tracer, pretends to ignore her, and doubles back, barely dying at the end. In the last fight, there's no prediction going on, since the enemy team dives super early. In this case, Gurkmeister shows why he's really the best, killing a tracer with his primary fire, demeching the D.Va, and then one-shotting her afterwards. The main takeaways on this map is that if you're holding space, abuse enclosed areas where possible, because if anybody pushes you, you punish them super hard. And on retakes, look to anticipate and prevent dives from even happening, while staying within your backline's line of sight. And that last bit couldn't be more true in the very next fight. As you would expect, he plays the enclosed room, but because his Brig is pushing the other side, the Junkrat can't get any peel from the D.Va Echo, and Gurkmeister ends up exploding. It's a good reminder that even at the top level, not everyone is perfect. Coming back from spawn, Gurkmeister hits some unbelievable shots. When the tracer is going in, not only does he hit a direct, forcing her recall, he also hits the predict shot as soon as the tracer comes out of her recall, allowing his Genji to finish the kill. Unfortunately, because his Juno died early in the fight, his team do end up losing the long fight despite his efforts. Walking back to the enclosed room, we can see just how on the ball Gurkmeister is, catching the Echo off guard entirely while she tries to dive the Brig, then flanking with his Juno in the left room, basically one-shotting the Brig and trapping the D.Va. Unfortunately, in this rare occasion, the tracer gets the better of the Junkrat and lands the pulse bomb. We can see a lot of key Junkrat fundamentals packed in just that one fight alone. Anticipating the Echo, playing and flanking in the enclosed room, having line of sight with his Juno, and landing all of his skill shots. Now armed with his Riptire, Gurkmeister and his team decide to swing early with Orbital Ray, and while he doesn't hit the Tracer here, he definitely spooks her, zoning the Tracer for a good few seconds. After the ray is over, he rotates to the other enclosed space next to point, where his Brig is also playing. This allows him to get help from the Brig, while also making him very dangerous. As soon as he spots the D.Va using boosters, he retreats back further into the room, pops Tire, and catches the D.Va. Not to mention, his trap also gets the Tracer, and in this fight, we can see how strong baiting enemies into enclosed spaces really is. Unfortunately though, the concluding fight sees the blue team push with their orbital ray, and while Gurkmeister's backline does play together initially, they split off in different directions during the dive. To make matters even worse, on the next map, we repeatedly see some of Junkrat's biggest downsides. While, as we've seen, he might be good at preventing dives, especially in enclosed spaces, he's not the best at absorbing them. Once the enemy D.Va, Echo and Tracer are on top of the Junkrat, there's very little he can do, especially compared to a Cassidy who's got more HP, can roll away with damage reduction, and has a defensive nade with CC. Not to mention, as soon as we start opening up the map, preventing the dive becomes much harder, and obviously, hitting an Echo mid-air as Junkrat is much more difficult compared to a point-and-click adventure on Cassidy. And for multiple fights in a row, it just seems like the enemy Tracer, Echo and D.Va have Gurkmeister's number on speed dial. However, we're forgetting that there's still 3 minutes left in this bitch. Coming back to point, Gurkmeister puts a perfectly placed trap around the corner, baiting the enemy Brig to push when the raid drops and the BAP dies. Not only does he trap the Brig, but he throws his concussion mine above the Brig's head so that she can't shield the mine off. With the Brig down, Gurkmeister pops the Tire to kill the Echo and force the D.Va out of mech. Despite dying to the Tracer, Gurkmeister gets basically a 3-for-1 in a matter of seconds, keeping this map alive. And honestly, the surprises keep coming, as here, he zones the Juno away from her own D.Va with 1 mine. This might not look like much, but from the Juno's POV, she can't heal the D.Va anymore, and this is the strength of Junkrat. You have to risk walking forward into Gurkmeister just to heal your D.Va, or you don't heal her at all. You can perfectly see it here, as when the Brig walks forward, he almost gets one shot from 30 meters away. The next bit of Gurkmeister gold comes at the end, where the Echo gets pinged, and because she isn't in the air, it sets up the perfect, juiciest one-shots. To make matters worse, she also had duplicate this fight, but it's not over yet. With his Juno dying during a raid push, he decides to retreat back to the mini near the cars. Because the sightlines are tighter, narrower and shorter, it forces the enemy Tracer to flank around, buying Gurkmeister and his team some time to get the Tire. Once he gets it, he demechs the D.Va, and not soon after, landing the final blow. As a last desperate attempt, the Echo duplicates the one and only Gurkmeister, but he forgot he's not that guy. And somehow, Junkrat manages to beat a team playing D.Va, Tracer and Echo while also being 99% down, securing the map. Now it's not all sunshine and rainbows. The team that Gurkmeister is on only got top 16 in the recent stage of OWCS, and the team he just beat aren't that great comparably. Not to mention, he's not even a starter on the team anymore. This is the only game I could find. But I think that's more to do with Junkrat as a hero instead of Gurkmeister as a player. Turns out, combine some incredible one-shot mechanics, high awareness to prevent dives, flanking at the right time with your team, baiting enemies to come into spaces that you want to play, and with a tad bit of luck, you not only have one of the best Junkrats in the world, but one of the best players in the world. As always, thanks for watching. Let me know who or what you want to see next, and until next time.